Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Come Out Things. This one I'm doing though is relevant to an experience that I'm going through with a client, and I want to highlight it because I've encountered quite a few people who are experiencing problems with their business and with getting transactions done at corporate affairs. And I want to highlight this because this is something that is very, very important. Because it frustrates people who come here who want to invest in Barbados or open businesses in Barbados. And it frustrates small business people when they want to properly register their business, incorporate it, and do certain things like annual returns and change the directors and all the other things you do when you have a business. You know, getting a certificate of good standing or whatever. All right? No. I've been doing some stuff for a company at corporate affairs through an attorney. The attorney took over from another attorney. So it appeared that the previous attorney had not done their due diligence, whatever. So this attorney is now making amends and getting things together for the client. So I would take the necessary documentation to corporate affairs. But there were mistakes. We admit there were mistakes within the first documentation previous to us having them. Anyway, we went to corporate affairs and we went to a customer service representative. And they said, okay, we have these mistakes. Correct these and bring them back. When we correct them, we bring them back. We meet a different customer service representative. They said, well, no, these mistakes. Correct them and bring them back. Now, this has been happening since June last year. All right. Now we explained to them the urgency of the matter because we needed to have the annual returns done, the change of directors done, and a certificate of good standing so that these people can properly do business transactions through their bank. As a result of the turnaround and the fact that certain people, I don't want to say all because I find a lot of the people, the majority of the people there are willing to help. I've got some wonderful people there at corporate affairs. But there are one or two very bad apples who are more interested in how they look than anything else. Who have purposely, I have to say this, I believe, purposely taken great pleasure in sabotaging this or making sure that the slightest little thing they can obstruct the smooth flow of business at corporate affairs. And I'm putting this up because I want the Prime Minister of Barbados. I want Miss Lisa Cummings, who's in charge of small business. I want the Registrar of Corporate Affairs, the Registrar of Business, to understand what is happening and the frustration that these people who are an overseas company who came here to do business at the invitation of the government of Barbados are experiencing. As a result of this long delay, their bank account has now been frozen. And no matter how we try, every time I submit documents, the documents are not reaching to the file so they can be corrected. And they're telling me I have these old corrections that I corrected time and time again. They're telling me I now have to correct again. You understand? Because when you give them to them, somebody's lost in them or somebody's too busy having their own personal meetings and are doing their eyelashes or their nails or something all the time. And I'm being very, very specific here because I want people to know that there are people who are purposely interfering with the smooth flow of business in Barbados. And it's frustrating people. Now, a company that has been invited here to do business, an international trading company, you know, they also have a construction company here in Barbados, cannot get onto their bank account and cannot make transactions, cannot deposit checks, cannot do proper checks, cannot pay for goods and services because of a person or persons who are obfuscated, who are deliberately sabotaging because of their own petty interests. You understand? Some people sometimes get something they didn't believe they would get. Some people get a job they didn't think they would ever get in life, and they believe they have become supercilious and arrogant. These people forget sometimes that they work for the public, that our taxpayers' dollars are who pay their salaries. You understand? And I'm going to personally make a complaint for the one or two people I see who do that. I'm going to send the name to the registrar, and I'm also going to send the name directly to the permanent secretary and to the minister, so they will know who is doing what, at where, and when, and what it is doing to people, okay? Because it is time we are Barbadians, when we go into government agencies, that when we do not get the customer service that we should be getting, or we are ill-treated or spoken to unmanly, that we complain for these people because they work for us. They are civil servants. They are servants of the civilians, public servants. And our taxes are what pays their salaries. And we need to ensure that we are given the service that we are entitled for. We're not begging for this. And this time something is done about it. I am totally frustrated today because I just spoke to somebody who went there to deal with the issue for me, and they've just been given a runaround again. You understand? And until this particular matter is settled, I'm going to blast this as far through the Caribbean and regionally as possible and let people know what is going on here in Barbados. I'm going to send it to my Caribbean group. All right? You okay? And please, I'm going to ask, please. All right? I'm going to ask, please, that people, when you do and you go to places and you experience problems, speak about it. Complain. If you friend to complain, send it to me. My mouth big. My breath who's hanging on anybody can bash them. You understand? Send it to me. And I will do the due diligence. Alright? Alright, this is Winston Clark. This is another episode of Come Out Things. Just remember, keep your spirits up. Keep your tempers down when it was a little up just now. And remember, please, try to do something good for someone today, alright? Have a good day, I'm out.